Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. It's Rob and Sandra from My Wife the Dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
Did you take your Brazil nut today?
No, we don't have any right now. We ate them all.
Oh, okay. Are you having sesame seeds?
I eat sesame seeds on my oatmeal every day, yeah.
And what about sunflower seeds?
Also sunflower seeds.
Wonderful. Because you know what they're high in? Brazil nuts.
Oh, well, Brazil nuts are high in selenium. That's why we usually take those, yeah.
That's our nutrition nuggets today.
Selenium.
Selenium.
Is that something important that we need, selenium?
Yeah. Is it a vitamin? Is it a mineral? Is it a phytochemical?
I think it's a mineral. We discussed this a long time ago about it coming from Brazil, selenium. That's why it's called a Brazil nut, because its selenium is high. There's a high concentration of selenium in the soil in Brazil where Brazil nuts are grown.
That's right.
That's why they contain selenium.
And that's why they called Brazil. They named it after the nut because it was their biggest commodity.
Really?
Yeah. So interesting, eh?
I wonder what it was called before.
I don't know. But yeah, it's a trace mineral, selenium. You know what that means? We don't need a lot.
Oh, I thought you meant there's not a lot in the soil. It's a trace mineral for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So calcium's not a trace mineral. We need a bit more calcium.
Right.
Because it's in all our bones. But selenium's really important for our the body's first line of defense against cell-damaging free radicals. And it's an antioxidant. Do you remember we talked about free radicals a long time ago back in about our immune system?
Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said it's an antioxidant?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a potent antioxidant, actually.
And sorry, you wanted to talk about free radicals too. I cut you off.
That's okay. No, I remember we were talking about how thinking of like a classroom with like kids that are like just hopped up,
they just came from gym class and they're all hyper.
Yeah. And so they're like free radicals. They're just like bouncing off the walls. They're just so excited and like not able to sit still. And they're damaging like the room and throwing stuff around. And the teacher is like the antioxidant. She like brings everybody like, kind of gets them all calmed down and in their seats.
Oh, here comes Mrs. Antioxidant again. I love her. Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's a link between low levels of selenium in the soil.
Oh, that was a good description, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah. So do you understand? Then selenium helps. It's an antioxidant.
Selenium is the teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it actually works in concert with vitamin E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and vitamin E is an antioxidant also. But both of those, we don't get rid of them easily out of our system. So both of them are not recommended to take in like high dose supplement form.
And what about the Brazil nut then? Like, is it okay to eat one of those every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's food.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's different, right? Food is Mother Nature's way for us to get our vitamins and minerals and our nutrition. And when we start to synthesize, certain elements in the food and like vitamins and minerals and then put them into a form where you can take big doses of it, it kind of can mess up the balance a bit.
Right.
There was a big trial. I worked with men with prostate cancer at the cancer clinic years ago and did groups. And a big trial that was happening was looking at the hypothesis was if men took vitamin E and selenium supplements, it may reduce their risk of prostate cancer.
And you're talking about like a test trial, not like a criminal trial.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
No, a
Just to be-
research, trial.
Research, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was called the SELECT trial, and meaning selenium, like cell, and vitamin E. So SELECT, so selenium and vitamin E cancer prevention trial. And they were looking at supplements of selenium and vitamin E and the effect on the prevention of prostate cancer. And they started the trial in 2001, and they had to abruptly stop it in 2008 when it was discovered that the men on the supplemental arm, like the taking the selenium and vitamin E, were actually increasing their risk of cancer compared to the placebo group.
Oh, crazy. Is that what they thought? No, obviously they didn't think they would get cancer from it, but that's what it turned out to be doing.
Yeah, there's like from the population data and the epidemiologic studies, looking at large populations of people, found an inverse relationship between selenium intake and cancers of the prostate and breast and colon, as well as heart disease. So population with the lowest risk of almost every type of cancer have the highest intakes of selenium.
So the more selenium you eat, the lower your risk of cancer and those other things you mentioned.
Yeah, in food.
So your food source of selenium.
That's right. And the thing with selenium is it's a mineral in the soil, and there's certain parts of the world where there's less selenium in the soil than other parts of the world. So if you're eating like mainly, in your local area and just the food from your local area, you might not be getting enough selenium. Like the Pacific Northwest, where we live, has a lower level of selenium. And it's partly because of all the rainfall we get.
Right. But the rainfall helps other things grow. So it's kind of it evens everything out. But yeah, we lose out on the selenium.
Yeah.
Because it leaches out of the soil, right? Because the rain kind of washes it out or something.
Yeah, the same with Oregon and Washington and Northern California. So, and there's other parts of the world too. But generally with the global food supply now, we're eating from, food from all parts of the world, like our wheat that we have, like the noodles, it comes from the semolina wheat, and that's in the prairies in Canada. Mm-hmm. So that's actually selenium-rich soil. So our noodles and wheat products, grain products, have a good amount of selenium.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And there's lots of other foods too. So like Brazil nuts have so much selenium. They have, but basically one nut gives you more than your recommended amount every day.
Is that the only place in the world that nut grows? Probably, eh? I guess it's like there's something about that climate that, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe we should look that up. I don't know.
I'm just wondering if every Brazil nut has a lot of selenium or just the ones grown in Brazil. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's why they're they're a good source, because they grow in Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So your recommended daily intake is 55 micrograms. Remember I said it was a trace mineral or a micronutrient?
Mm-hmm.
So it's measured in micrograms versus calcium is measured in milligrams, because it's not a trace mineral.
Oh, right. Okay. We've been over this before. That just finally clicked for me. So the trace minerals are measured in micrograms.
Micrograms, that's right.
Because they're just small amounts. Okay.
Very small. And so, people hear, oh, I need selenium. It's really good for my metabolism. It supports the hormone production, like thyroid production. It supports your immune system. So all these factors, like all these bodily processes, that it's really important to help, but we don't need big doses of it. And actually, the SELECT trial showed that it might be harmful. So if you have a good level of selenium in your blood and you're adding more, that could be dangerous. But if you're deficient in selenium and you're just getting enough to correct that deficiency, that's okay. So too much can be toxic. And you know what some of the symptoms are if you have too much selenium?
Sorry, you're talking about supplements again here? You're not talking about getting it through food, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about supplements.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because I think people think more is better if they hear, oh, maybe we don't have enough in the soil.
Yeah, it's cancer prevention. Yeah, let's pop a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
pop a bunch of Brazil nuts.
Yeah, that's a better way for sure. Like you could just have a, handful of Brazil nuts once a week. And,
true.
Because it's not a water soluble vitamin, you don't pee it out. It stays in your system. And that's why too much can be toxic. And some of the symptoms of toxicity are hair loss, nausea, irritability, and nerve damage.
Okay, can I just ask this one other time? Can you get that from eating too many Brazil nuts? I just want to be clear on that because it is kind of confusing that you're getting the same thing through food that you would in a supplement. But before, like when you said the supplements are a lot more concentrated, so they act a little bit differently in your body. So that's the ones you got to watch out for.
Yeah,
right?
When you take a supplement, it's kind of like a pharmacological dose in your system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different than food.
Yeah, I just want to make sure people understand that.
Right. So there are some kind of high risk groups that could have a deficiency if they're, partly if you're not eating enough, just like the iron that we did the other day. We talked about iron deficiency anemia. So actually, again, vegan diets, people could be at risk for not getting enough selenium because a lot of the sources are animal-based or fish and beef and chicken and egg. They'll have good selenium. But so if you're on a vegan diet and you don't eat nuts and seeds, then you could be possibly not getting enough selenium.
Okay, right.
There's also conditions like celiac disease again.
Oh,
remember we talked to Selena. Selena, the celiac dietitian, a couple episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Selena DeVries. And yeah, her name's almost like selenium. That's funny.
Exactly.
Anyway, so having a malabsorptive digestive disease like that, so celiac, Crohn's disease could put you at risk for a deficiency of selenium, kidney dialysis. So if you are on kidney dialysis, that could also affect your level of selenium and you might not be getting enough. You could run into the deficiency.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's important to get enough, but not to start popping a supplement. If you do take a multivitamin mineral, which a lot of people do, and then you're going to get a little bit of everything. And in the one for men that I looked at in your
my old man multivitamin.
Is it an old man?
Yeah, it's like the seniors.
Like over 50.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. And do you remember the number I said when I read it out to you?
30, 40, 50, 55.
Isn't that your age? Sorry. Anyways, 55 micrograms. So in men's supplement, multivitamin, one of them, I don't know if they're all like that, but we looked up yours and 55 micrograms in the supplement.
And sorry, how much did we need?
55.
Oh, it's exactly like they put in exactly the right amount.
Yeah. Because the upper limit, you don't want to get over like 400 micrograms. What they studied in the SELECT trial was 200 micrograms.
So that's not based on body size, hey?
Well, the recommended daily intake are based on age and gender. Like they do like life state, like ages, like kids. And so it's, a lot of them is based on preventing deficiency.
So like giving you your minimum amount.
Exactly.
Yeah, to keep
you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's probably based on an average size.
Yeah.
A lot of things, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So, yeah. So with this selenium, it's not really something that you really have to think about unless you're not eating these foods that we know are high in selenium. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
What's the number one?
A Brazil nut.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I still see people that I talked to like 10 years ago, different, groups or one-to-one or people that I counseled years ago, and they will tell me that they're still taking the Brazil nut.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome.
Well, it's an easy one, right? It makes sense. It's like, oh, I can do that. That's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, it's like a little multivitamin, right?
It is. Yeah.
But it's just a nut. And I mean, definitely you can just eat it. Like a handful of Brazil nuts a day would be fine, like once a week, or just one or two nuts. Like a lot of people have them close to if they have a multivitamin. So that's a good way to do it. Anyways, if you don't like that, there's other ways. So tuna is actually a pretty good source. So 3 ounces is like 68 micrograms.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. 3 ounces. How big is a can of tuna? It's more than 3 ounces.
Yeah, it depends on the can. There's lots of different.
I'm just thinking, I mean, you don't have to eat a lot of it to get your amount of selenium.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Halibut, sardines, salmon. So all the fish again, one of Mother Nature's perfect foods.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Beef is actually 3 ounces, gives you about 30 micrograms.
Okay. A little bit less, but still. Some.
Yeah, and chicken and turkey, shiitake mushrooms, Greek yogurt, egg, whole wheat bread. Sunflower seeds are a pretty good source. So a quarter cup is about 25 micrograms.
Nice.
So pretty good. And sesame seeds are pretty good too. And that's something that we use a lot of, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're fairly inexpensive. They taste good. And you can just sprinkle them in your your oatmeal or on salads, just on your meal.
Yeah, they're a nice little accent.
Yeah, and they're really healthy. Like, they're super good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, selenium helps your body with the thyroid function.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it supports the hormone production of thyroid. So that's another thing, because remember we talked to...
Alicia.
Yes.
Nicely.
That's right. I'm always quizzing you about different episodes, aren't I?
Making sure I'm paying attention.
Yeah, right. So that was the thyroid dietitian. And that was a great episode all about hypothyroid and the autoimmune condition.
Yeah. Yeah, that was super interesting.
Yeah. So that's another thing, is just the connection with selenium and thyroid.
Hashimoto's, isn't that what it was called?
That's exactly what it's called. You got it. Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting mineral, selenium. It's not that we're like, I guess because I'm a dietitian, I just am hyper aware of different vitamins and minerals and how to get them, and just the evidence. And it was a big part of when I was working with men with prostate cancer, because this big study was happening in the midst of this. It was like between 2001 it started, and it was abruptly stopped 7 years later in 2008, because they found that people were, it was actually putting them at risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, we know now that with vitamin E, and that'll be a different show, but vitamin E is something that even like with the nutrigenomics, and when you find out like what your genes say about how you utilize different vitamins and minerals and nutrition, vitamin E can actually, if you take a supplement of it, it can increase your risk of cancer. So it's one that, in my case, like I won't take vitamin E supplements. Like if it's in a multi, that's a little bit, but just rely on food. Nuts and seeds are a really good source of vitamin E, but we're getting off track. But they do work together, the selenium and the vitamin E.
There you go. There's your nutrition nugget for the week.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for bringing that up and explaining all that and sharing your wisdom once again.
There's one thing else to remember. If you're taking a bunch of different supplements, multivitamin plus, there's all these different combination supplements plus single dose supplements, add all the different things up. So some might have, you might be taking 2 or 3 things with zinc. So then you're getting maybe too much zinc. Or you know what I mean? The same
like
with selenium.
If you're taking a zinc pill and the zinc is also mixed in with your calcium supplement and it's also in your multivitamin, then you're getting a lot of zinc when really you don't need that much. Or whatever the case. Vitamin D sometimes is in everything and you're taking a vitamin D pill as well.
Yeah, and selenium is another example that it might be in multiple places.
Okay. Yeah, good tip. Lots more tips like that in our newsletter. It's a weekly newsletter you can sign up for on our website. It's mywifethedietitian.com. It's a button to sign up for the newsletter. It comes out once a week. Lots of tips, recipes, updates on shows, that sort of thing. So have a look at that. Send us your questions too. We love answering listener questions. You can email us at mywifetherd@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Reach out to us there too if you wish, or just leave us a thumbs up or a smiley face. Don't forget to rate and review the show. That's super helpful to us. Also helps other people find the show. And don't forget to share with your friends and family. Thanks for joining us. That is it for this week. We will be back next Monday with a full episode. So in the meantime, have a great week, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.